Hello everyone, I'm Shio. Today we're going to look at what is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult and nuanced fights in Dark Souls 3, Aldrich the Devourer. He's a late game boss that has high magical resistances and physically can hit very, very hard. Let's take a look at the fight in sections, so that whether you're casually playing or in the midst of a challenge, you can give Aldrich what he deserves: death. Look at this magnificent slug. What a beaut! Pristine, slime-covered, and halfway through its meal of that pretty little boy from downstairs. Aldrich starts the fight at the far end of the arena, and the distance that you cover will determine what moves he will open up with. At the core of this fight, distance is what is best to pay attention to. How far away you are from Aldrich will limit his moveset to specific attacks, and it's because of this that we can easily manipulate him into doing what we want. Aldrich has two kinds of attacks, physical and magical. His spells are used against enemies at a distance, where his physical attacks are used against those at close range. The physical attacks that he makes are telegraphed and have ample time to react accordingly, while the ranged attacks can be strafed about, where you can use something that mitigates magic damage, such as Twisted Wall of Light. As a note, all three of his Phase 1 magic attacks, arrows, orbs, and soul spear, can be deflected with this spell. When Aldrich finishes an attack, he will straighten back up, and it's at this point that he reads the character distance and makes his next move. The exception for Phase 1 is that his arrow attack can be cast while you are within melee range of him, but is very easily dodged if you just circle around the back of him. He will not cast this spell in Phase 2 while within melee range. If you are too close to Aldrich, that is, within one roll of distance to the body of Gwendolyn, when he straightens up, he will slam his weapon into the ground, causing an AoE pool and teleport away. You'll hear him scream as he goes under, and when he goes silent, the game will read your character position and teleport him directly opposite of you in a corner. It takes a bit to get the timing right, but if you get it, you can know exactly where Aldrich will go. This makes a huge difference when it comes to Phase 2. Phase 2 begins after you deal 1,650 points of damage to Aldrich. As long as you don't exceed this threshold, he will stay in Phase 1, allowing you to wait out an attack for positioning before going into Phase 2. He will teleport upon phase transition, except this time the AoE pool will not harm the player. When he spawns across the arena from you, he will lit up with flames. From here on out, all of his non-magical attacks will cause flame trails on the ground that deal a low amount of damage, if you walk through them. The changes that occur for Phase 2 are relatively minimal. He trails flames around with his weapon attacks. When he teleports, he now spawns magical orbs that home in on the player. His arrow attack lasts a lot longer and can no longer easily be strafed as it chases the player around. And lastly, he has an extra magical attack, the Life Hunt Scythe. He twirls around twice, and if it hits, he regains health that is leached from the player. The same spells can be mitigated in Phase 2 as in Phase 1, but Life Hunt Scythe will need to either be iframed or get enough distance between you and Aldrich that it doesn't hit. Aldrich is very easily manipulated with keeping certain range. If you are a little over one roll distance away from him, he will always give a melee attack. There's a sweet spot, and you can force him to stay in the fight and not use magic. That means only one teleportation in the entire fight, and that's at the phase transition. You know he will spawn in the opposite corner of you, so you can easily run up and get into melee range, avoiding all magical attacks and avoiding any further teleportation. But I messed up and now he's cast arrows in Phase 2. What do I do? As the arrows are coming towards you, don't be scared. They don't have the best tracking and can't turn very quickly. If you simply roll in a square, that's left or right, and then forward or back, and repeat, you can avoid getting hit by them. Do not stop rolling, but always change the direction of your rolls to be perpendicular to the paths of the arrows. You can work your way in a diagonal pattern from or toward the boss. The orbs and soul spear are much easier to handle than the arrows, and do not last nearly as long. So that's Aldrich the Devourer. Not such a tough slug after all. I hope that this explanation of how to control the boss and manipulate him to do what you want was helpful and that you enjoyed the video. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, friends. Stay safe, stay cute, and be kind to one another. Bye-bye.